Comrades, it is an honor to address your meeting this afternoon. From the beginning of our election campaign, my running mate Niles Nemeth and I have directed our appeal not only to workers in the United States, but to our brothers and sisters in Asia, Europe, and around the world who face the same crisis, the same attack on democratic rights, and the same danger of world war that threatens the very future of human civilization. I had the great pleasure of traveling to Sri Lanka as the SEP presidential candidate in 2012, visiting the homes of rubber plantation workers and speaking alongside the SEP candidates in district election meetings in Colombo, Kigali, and Galle. Whatever the differences in language and culture, it is remarkable how common are the essential experiences of workers in every country. In the years since that visit, this small island has been engulfed in the geopolitical maelstrom, including a Washington-backed regime change operation as U.S. imperialism seeks to encircle China and prepare for war. With little more than a week before Election Day in the U.S., there is a deep sense of foreboding in America and around the world over what will happen once the next president is elected. After a more than 1 year long campaign, the American people have been left with the so-called choice between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, two right-wing candidates committed to an escalation of military violence abroad and the intensification of the war against the American working class at home. The billionaire real estate mogul, Trump, is seeking to channel political disaffection down the reactionary path of anti-immigrant chauvinism, economic nationalism, and the suppression of political dissent. He has the monopoly on appealing to popular discontent because of the anti-working class policies of the Democratic Party and what passes as the official, quote, left. Clinton personifies the political status quo. She is the favored candidate of the corporate and political establishment. She counts among her supporters not only leading Wall Street bankers, but also the architects of the illegal invasion of Iraq, CIA torture, and NSA spying. Clinton has attacked Trump from the right, denouncing him as a puppet of the Russians. She is even more hawkish than Obama and is pushing for a confrontation with Russia over Syria and Ukraine, which carries with it the danger of nuclear war. There are sharp political differences in the American ruling class. The ongoing debacle of Washington's war for regime change in Syria, the signs of disarray in the anti-Chinese pivot to Asia, the emergence of open conflict with imperialist allies in Europe, particularly Germany, are generating bitter conflicts within the American ruling class, magnified by fears of a rising tide of social opposition in the United States itself. However, there is no peace faction in the American ruling elite. The war drive of the United States, in the end, is rooted not in the subjective motivations of individual politicians, but the objective contradictions of American and world capitalism. The protracted economic decline of American capitalism has resulted in 25 years of war for global hegemony. Yet every war launched by the American ruling class to secure its strategic interests has only created conditions for new and larger wars. The same contradictions that produce imperialist war also produce the objective basis for socialist revolution. American society is torn by a deep class divide. The squandering of trillions of dollars for war, along with a brutal class policy that has resulted in the vast enrichment of the financial aristocracy, has coincided with a relentless attack on the living standards and social rights of the working class. The radicalization of broad sections of workers and young people found initial and distorted expression in support for the self-described socialist Bernie Sanders. However, as the SEP warned, Sanders is now seeking to deliver his backers behind the warmonger and stooge of Wall Street, Clinton. The demands for ever greater sacrifice is driving the American working class, the great sleeping giant of world politics, into struggle in the very heart of world imperialism. The last several years have seen the growth of opposition by auto workers, teachers, telecommunication workers, and others in the United States, which is part of the reemergence of the struggle of the working class internationally. The working class has not disappeared as the demoralized upper middle class proponents of the pseudo-left claim. There is an immense working class within the United States, and globally, more than 1.5 billion workers in China, India, and other countries have joined the ranks of the international proletariat in the last 2 decades. The historic role of the working class as the grave digger of capitalism and the bearer of far more advanced socialist property relations can only be realized if the revolution can only be realized in a revolution if a Marxist party is at its head. The elections in just over 1 week will resolve nothing. Not for the American working class, not for the working class in Sri Lanka, and not for the international working class. It is necessary to prepare for the struggles to come against war and inequality, against dictatorship, and against capitalism. Immense dangers confront workers and youth all over the world. However, we have immense confidence that on the basis of the international unity of the working class, combining the strength of the vast majority of the population that wants peace and equality, we will build a powerful social and political movement to finally put an end to the capitalist system. Thank you very much, comrades.